For 13 years, Alexander the Great fought across 3 continents, led 35,000 men against armies 10 times their size, and never lost a single battle. His secret wasn't luck. It was a tactic so deadly, armies still study it today. In 336 BC, a 20-year-old became king of Macedonia. His father Philip had just been assassinated. Most kingdoms would collapse, but Alexander inherited the deadliest army on earth. At its core was the phalanx, a wall of spears, each sarissa 18 feet long, striking before an enemy could even get close. Unstoppable from the front, but slow. So Philip added the companion cavalry, armored horsemen trained to smash through enemy lines at full speed. Alexander fused them into one strategy, the hammer and anvil. The phalanx pinned the enemy. The cavalry struck the weak point. Caught between the two, armies shattered. And his first test? The Persian Empire, the largest the world had ever seen. Alexander crossed into Asia with just 35,000 men, aiming to conquer it all. At the Granicus River, 40,000 Persians waited. Crossing under fire was suicide. Alexander charged anyway. The phalanx waded in under arrows. Men fell, but the line held. Then Alexander's cavalry thundered into the flank. The Persians broke. Thousands dead. Alexander lost fewer than 100. The message spread fast. Resistance was hopeless. Cities surrendered. And Persia's king, Darius III, finally took notice. Darius brought a massive army, but Alexander trapped him at Issus, a narrow strip between mountains and sea. Numbers meant nothing. The phalanx locked the Persian center. Then Alexander formed his cavalry into a wedge and charged straight for Darius. Their eyes met. The king panicked and fled. His army collapsed. His family was captured. The greatest empire on earth had been humiliated by a 22-year-old. 2 years later, Darius returned with an even larger army, maybe 200,000, on the plains of Gaugamela. He brought scythed chariots with spinning blades, elephants, cavalry from every corner of Asia. When the chariots charged, Alexander's men simply opened lanes. Javelins brought them down. The terror weapon failed instantly. Then Alexander feinted right, pulling the Persian cavalry with him. A gap opened in their center. He wheeled around, formed his wedge, and charged straight at Darius. For the second time, the king of Persia fled. His empire collapsed in a single day. Babylon, Susa, Persepolis, all his. Alexander was now king of Asia. But his hardest test lay ahead. In India, Alexander faced King Porus and 200 war elephants, living tanks that terrified horses. For weeks, the two armies stared across the Hydaspes River. Then, during a storm, Alexander secretly crossed upstream and struck at dawn. Porus countered with his elephants. The ground shook. Horses panicked, but Alexander adapted. Archers targeted the handlers. Uncontrolled elephants trampled their own lines. The hammer and anvil struck one last time. Phalanx pinned, cavalry encircled. Porus fought until wounded, and when captured, demanded to be treated like a king. Alexander respected him, made him an ally, but victory came at a cost. 1,000 Macedonians dead, his men exhausted. And for the first time, Alexander saw their limits. Alexander wanted to march further east, toward the Ganges, toward more glory, but his men refused. 10 years of deserts, mountains, jungles. They were broken, homesick. Alexander begged. He threatened. He locked himself in his tent for 3 days. Nothing worked. At the Hyphasis River, his army mutinied. For the first time in his life, Alexander lost, not to an enemy, but to his own men. They turned back. In Babylon, Alexander began planning new conquests, Arabia, maybe Rome. But at 32, after a banquet, he fell ill. 10 days of fever, then death. Poison, disease, exhaustion? 2,000 years later, no one knows. What is certain, he left no heir, no plan. His empire tore itself apart within months, but his tactics survived. The hammer and anvil, combined arms warfare, ideas that still shape modern armies. Alexander's empire collapsed. His genius did not. He remains the man who never lost a battle. And maybe the real question isn't what he conquered, but what he might have, if he'd lived. Could he have taken Rome, India, the entire world? Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you want more legendary commanders, hit like and subscribe.